Welcome to a video that is basically just a copy of Emblem in style. Today we dive into the topic of the cesspool that is political arguments on the internet, and, well, the consequences of having one. Now, I will be truthful, I clickbaited you. This isn't really a rant, but more so a commentary video discussing why some people should be not a total douche to each other. But I don't care. My last rant video was months ago, and it seems like I have nothing to rant about. But maybe this is a rant. You guys can decide. Now, I shall say first, this video doesn't discuss politics in any way apart from maybe some jokes about it, but I will not give any sides the benefit of the doubt or my side. This video makes fun of everyone who has a political opinion on the internet. Also, if I mention anything in this video about some users or people, don't attack them. This video is for discussion only about underlying issues with the internet. I'm not here to really solve anything, but show why some people act like a bunch of buffoons. Do you have a political opinion? Well, for me, that's fine, unless you act like an idiot. But everyone ever can at least admit politics is a very taboo and controversial topic to discuss, literally anywhere. It's easy to explain why, because most people have seen it themselves. Because if you have a political opinion and have shared it, there's like a 99.9% chance you've gone into an argument about it. Now look, there's a good reason it's a taboo subject. Politics nowadays essentially boil down to this man or woman bad or this man or woman good, instead of talking about the good sides or both sides and the bad sides of both sides. Some people are just extremely ignorant and completely condescending. I know that most people want a civil argument when it comes to politics, but it's quite unpredictable to assume you will always be satisfied at the end of it. Politics in real life are usually the one topic you only talk about if everyone agrees they won't act like a bunch of a-holes to each other. Now, I have been in a somewhat political argument myself, but it wasn't about a side of a politician. It was about how I tried explaining something to an extremely rude and ignorant person, and why they should be careful talking about politics. Luckily, they don't watch my videos because they'd be the type to engage in more arguments in the comments against me. I remember thinking after it about just how rude and narcissistic and inconsiderate he was. I just wanted to tell him simply, be careful of sharing your political opinion because you must just cause an argument. He just flipped me off at the end of it because I was trying to be civil and be caring about him. He was a Trump supporter, and before you watch any further, I'm gonna say something funny, or offensive, but to me it's funny. Close your ears if you can't take a joke. He was exactly like a normal Trump supporter, loud, inconsiderate, and rude. That might just be circling a bunch of normal people as rude and inconsiderate, but if you've ever talked about Trump, you have most likely run into a guy I just mentioned and just thought about how you have to waste time trying to be civil about something, but he can't, because all he acts like is a dummy. I don't like saying that, but they seriously have the audacity to really just be a nuisance to everyone. I don't like talking about my opinions unless it matters. I don't really have a political opinion because honestly, well, politics is just a big deep well that seems to drop forever and doesn't have an end. And that once you drop in, the only way to really slow your fall at the bottom is to hold on to the sides. I will just let this YTP edit from Emblem and exactly explain what trying to argue politics with an idiot and rude people is like.
You have nothing to gain, but everything to lose.
Political argument should always be civil, but it sometimes always ends at the deep well. You waste time and effort trying to be civil and like a normal person to another human being. All humans are different, which gives you the right to discern who is an idiot and who isn't. Now, name-calling would make you and me a hypocrite, but what if you use that word in the context of the phrase, arguing with a smart person is really difficult, but arguing with an idiot is impossible? Maybe you are the problem. Maybe you started the political argument, but maybe you wanted to end it peacefully. It's completely acceptable, and maybe it was an accident, or maybe it was because someone is so much of a dumb, inconsiderate, and just ballsy person to immediately accelerate the argument to the ceiling, which is exactly where the next part starts. The internet is a great place for communication, connecting with people around the world. You can make friends you never thought you would, which is great, but if you intentionally go to the deep end of the internet, basically known as either the weird side or dumb or dark side of the internet, then that's where you reach critical mass. The internet can instantly turn into a war against each other by simply saying one thing. It's either a crap hole or a normal place to connect. When you combine the mess of the internet and the mess of politics, that's when everything goes down the toilet. Let's imagine you are this guy. He's just talking with some people on a chat forum, and suddenly someone either makes a political joke or just some kind of nod to politics. Now, this is where you choose where this guy goes. If you choose for him to respond back with a joke, you either start an argument or it becomes a good place to laugh. But if you make him angry, he'll respond by acting like a dummy and start an argument. But either way, in most cases, one person will be the guy starting the argument. It's pretty much impossible to be civil on the internet, because as long as you have an internet connection, literally anyone can use the internet. It attracts the outcasts of society that nobody wants to talk to, but the internet grants them asylum to speak their dumb and insignificant opinions. Let's take Twitter and the YouTube comment section for an example. One way for political arguments to start is by the source post or video being somewhat related or related to politics in whatever ways. In the comments, someone will most likely make a post that sparks discussion. For a time, people are trying to make some points and find out what works and what doesn't, and then they come in. I like to call them the Brum Mementos. This applies to anyone who immediately disrupts a peaceful interaction and forces it to become a cesspool of wasted time and complete disorder. It eventually ends with a bunch of people having hurt feelings or just even dumber by the experience because they had to deal with an idiot. Having a political opinion on the internet is almost near impossible with these guys in the way, and sometimes everyone can be the Brum Mementos, and everyone on the opposing sides considers each other perfectly what this South Park clip does without actually it being related.
It's a condition called being a cynical asshole.
What's the point of talking about politics if everyone acts like an idiot? To me, talking about politics is essentially a group of people, and one person is a suicide bomber, and the moment the bomb's about to blow up, they blow everyone else up. Probably a really offensive and poor analogy, but damn is it accurate. In real life, at least everyone tries to avoid being an idiot as much as possible, and usually divert away from a political discussion or argument, but on the internet, people keep talking, yet still don't learn that these people ruin it all. Now, it's not really anyone's fault, people just want to see the other side and be civil about it, but the idiots storm in, crashing through the wall without a care. The main reason they are more reckless is because the internet allows for a somewhat barrier of anonymity, if you make it so, allowing these idiots to go off however they please, which sucks. These people in real life would never act like they do on the internet because the internet gives them an opportunity that is just so stupid and unfun. It's incredibly ironic how the internet is a way to communicate and connect with people, and when it comes to politics, it does the exact opposite, creating oppression and distrust and divide. But it's that way because others found a way to exploit it and make other people divided. One classic example of politics on the internet going wrong is Windu, or He Will Not Divide Us, a campaign to show the divide of Trump and the wall, and the people, Pol and someone B from 4chan began scheming. Now, Pol and B are the political types of boards in 4chan, and a lot of people hate Shia LaBeouf there, and what he does. So, they wanted to find a way to ruin this campaign. All you really had to do was go to the place in New York and start acting like a total jerk or fool on camera and disturb everyone there. The internet had a good laugh, as slowly but surely, Shia became even more angry with all the trolls and 4chaners ruining the campaign. Luckily, for 4chan, they would pretty much get what they would want, after Shia tried to assault a troll but accidentally hurt one of his fans instead. He was arrested live on camera. The events that unfolded next can easily be explained as just the power of determination of being Pol just to ruin a simple campaign and protest, showing exactly why you cannot win against 4chan. Now, Windu wasn't exactly a political argument, but it can show the divide, pun intended, between people and politics and how extreme some people are. It was intended to be a protest and rally, but of course 4chan put Shia in his place and completely took down the campaign for the most part. Politics nowadays are more extreme than ever. For me, I think it's just because people are getting dumber and more extreme with their views, but it could also be because of certain politicians. As you know, in 2016-2017, Trump was a big meme for the election. Nobody thought he would win. And basically a lot of the memes just said, "Orange man bad." And surprise, surprise, he won. Now, with his first term over soon, he can either get reelected or someone else can take his presidency. It's hard to have a civil argument when these guys are the ones trying to be the leader of our country, because just the amount of hate and love and extremism they both bring makes anyone a perfect target for harassment. So, mostly sitting down and staying quiet and just doing everything secretly without making a scene is the best way for yourself to not be shunned by everyone. Now, I can't vote because I'm not legally allowed to, but if I were able to, this whole entire video would still matter to me, because what if I don't want to vote because I think both are bad? That trying to have an opinion about something simply gets me harassed because I think one person is better than the other for our country. Politics are just one big squabble fest where everyone tries to shun each other for political gain instead of focusing on the important issues. And you can't talk to others about it because you could literally lose connections with people and cause divide with others. You could have been friends, but now it's the type of thing that exactly creates a divide. Another way to create divide is to have a political opinion on Reddit. Well, it's hard to talk about it. I use it, and it can make me look like a bad guy, because you know why? A lot of people associate all Redditors with the extreme political activists, or, just dumb normies who use the site. I can't blame them, since Reddit is described by a lot of people as an annoying and loud echo chamber of children. Reddit is one of the worst places to talk about politics and have a political opinion, because by simply saying something that opposes one side grants you a hail of downvotes on you and possibly being censored by the dumb mods. I can only imagine if someone posts this video to Reddit and it gets removed if the mods watch the entire video. Politics is just one thing Reddit sucks at. Everyone harasses each other about everything and aren't civil about literally anything because they're so extreme about everything, combining with the mods being the censor machines, and it gives the whole attitude that Reddit is just the worst place for discussion on the entire internet. Now, actually, this is pretty much the same for everywhere. As I mentioned, the internet can be somewhat anonymous if you want it to be, so everyone can act like idiots everywhere. Donald Trump's tweets are also met with controversy, basically. I sometimes can't even watch the news without hearing something bad about Trump. Now, it's fine that people need to expose people for doing bad things, but man, is it kind of annoying. I would want to talk about more here, but I'm not really the type of person who knows everything, and I'm just talking about a bunch of idiots or the consequences of having an opinion. I guess we might as well talk about the final thing. Why does any of this even matter? Maybe I'm just overreacting. Maybe I'm not. But I believe people should at least be civil and not censor each other for having an opinion. But, I mean, what should I expect? The internet only changes when something big happens that adds to its growing expanse of easy content to access. The behavior of the internet never changes. People have been toxic for a long time, just that this time it's about an issue that does matter. But yet, at the same time, it doesn't matter, because what's the deal with having an opinion when everyone wants to literally yell at you for thinking this guy could be a good fit for a president or a politician? Politics should really focus on the issues that could bring downfall or consequences so severe people immediately realize the mistakes they made. Global warming and space exploration, for example. Global warming is constantly ignored by major politicians for the most part, as it's a long-term side effect of the growing population. They know it exists, but choose to ignore it until it's too late. They don't help reduce the deforestation and mass amounts of CO2 being released into our atmosphere. The same applies to space exploration, but instead of a growing consequence, it's a growing idea that will help us in the future if we do something. Space exploration ensures the survival of the human race. Nobody will be able to squabble about anything if we can't even populate Mars before it's too late, thanks to the fact that we choose to think about it later. Politics have always had a divide, but issues that needed to be solved were solved usually within a few decades or years because we cared about those issues. But now it seems that most who run for any kind of position of power cares about short-term, non-important ventures that could help for a little bit, instead of carefully planning things that could happen in the future. This shall only continue if people are going to keep yelling and screaming at each other and literally solve nothing and create more distrust and divide until eventually it gets to a point where nothing gets done and the consequences always follow. Politics should be a side problem for the most part instead of major. If we are seriously harassing each other for thinking one person's capable of running the country, then that's a clear sign that things will change drastically. They should also be about solving problems instead of creating more problems from those problems. It's an endless cycle. Plus, it seems that nobody really understands much of what politics is anymore. That guy I mentioned earlier who flipped me off was the same age as me. Do you really think he knows anything about politics? I will admit, I really don't, but it doesn't stop me from saying the issues with it should be changed. If someone supports one guy and is gonna flip me off for trying to be honest and civil with him and try to give him some good advice, then what will anyone do when eventually something breaks, causing a whole chain reaction of downfall? Those who follow and listen to politics should be civil to others who have opposing views, because then, maybe, both sides can realize one thing about the other, that creating more divide actually worsens what everything stands for as a whole. Alright, I think I'm just going nuts now, but honestly, if you're the type of person to act like an idiot when people are trying to be civil in a political discussion, you really need to evaluate your decisions, as you are the one that shall divide everything. Maybe they said he will not divide us because everyone who talks about him and others gets divided. But seriously though, if you're an idiot when it comes to politics, consider not being an idiot. Alright, finish the video, time to upload to YouTube and maybe get some new subscribers from the video, which would be nice, and oh, it's been disliked, bombed. Ooh, that's not good. Well, I've pretty much said everything I want to say. I wish I could make it longer, but I really don't have much to say since I usually don't argue about this boring stuff on the internet or anywhere. So, let's get to the finale and all the parts the haters want. The outro. Remember everyone, this video probably won't solve anything. The personality of people on the internet only change if a big thing like the government force change in some way. So dumb and terrible political arguments that don't solve anything shall continue. But this was a fun video to make, and every time I see this kind of stuff on the internet, I can just laugh at how stupid and ignorant people are. This video will probably get dislikes, and I accept that. This video talks about something controversial, but I will remind you again, I make fun of everyone here. Nobody gets to feel satisfied because both sides do stupid things. But remember, if you get into a political argument by complete accident or because one guy, just leave it. You won't win or lose. Well, actually, everyone loses. Time. They lose time. Instead of doing something important, everyone has wasted time trying to tell a guy or woman to be civil, and that he or she is wrong. People are just ignorant and can't be taken care of. It's just culture. So don't join in and watch the battle. If you do have to join in, make sure you don't act like a hypocrite, because it will make you sound like a Redditor. Thank you for watching the video. After having the break, it was nice to not always feel stressed about reaching a deadline. This video was fun to make, and I love taking the piss on some people. I would also like to mention to join my Discord server, and of course, like the video or comment or for something to discuss parts of the video. If you didn't like it, I would like to hear why. I'm currently in the stage where I need everyone's opinions about my content, so any thoughts and problems from others would be noted. Alright, outro.